Hey neighbors, Kevin here with eTrailer, and today I'm going to be showing you how to install the Curt Trailer Hitch Receiver with a 1¼ inch receiver tube opening here on our 2025 GMC Terrain. If you own a lot of 1¼ inch accessories already and don't really want to go up to that 2 inch just yet, or use a reducer so that you can actually hold all those accessories, then the Curt's 1¼ inch trailer hitch receiver is going to be the solution for you. Now this trailer hitch, like I already said, has a 1¼ inch opening for the receiver tube, and it's going to have small little tow loops, so that way if you do end up towing a smaller utility trailer, you'll still be able to safely do that. Now along with that, you might want to also look into some trailer wiring, because if you are towing a trailer, you are going to want to have your lights from your taillights also reflecting back out on that trailer so that everyone else on the road knows exactly what you're doing. Taking a closer look at our trailer hitch, it is going to have a 3,500 pound gross towing capacity and a 525 pound tongue weight capacity. Now, it doesn't mean that you can just throw all that weight on there. You do still want to verify that your vehicle's capacity is going to match up to that and go with whichever is lower. Now, another thing that comes to mind with a trailer hitch is how much ground clearance am I going to have? And with this one, we're looking at right about 10 3/8 from the ground up to the bottom of our receiver tube. And on some accessories, I do know that the hitch pin hole back can sometimes be an issue, so I'll take that measurement as well, which comes out to right about 9 and maybe 1/8, maybe 3/16 to the center of our hitch pin hole. So if you have an accessory with an excessively long shank where you need that extra room, you're probably going to have it with this one. As for any accessories that we plan on folding up, like a bike rack, cargo carrier, something like that, we need to make sure that it's actually going to clear our fascia. So from the center of our hitch pin hole out, we're looking at right around 5¼ inches. So your trailer hitch is not going to come with a hitch pin and clip, so you would have to get that separately, but typically whatever accessory you have, whether it's a ball mount, bike rack, cargo carrier, it'll usually come with one. If it does not, or maybe you lost yours, you can always pick another one up from here. As far as safety chain connectors, so we have a clevis and we also have our S-hook. The S-hook's probably going to be the better option for this because it's got enough room to kind of really slide around, whereas with a clevis hook, it's a lot larger. You might see it kind of bind up as it kind of goes back and forth, especially if you hit a turn. So like right now I'm kind of binding, so that wouldn't be my first choice if I was towing a trailer with this trailer hitch. As far as the install goes, you can definitely do this yourself at home. You will need to pick up either a file or a grinding bit so that you can enlarge the hole in the frame rail, so that way you can slip all your hardware through to get your hitch mounted. And then you'd also want to have just an extra set of hands, so as you lift that up into place and get all those bolts and nuts tightened down, you have someone else kind of help lift it up and hold it, make the job a whole lot easier. Now if you aren't wanting to do this yourself, please check out our dealer locator. You can enter in your zip code and find out a local shop near you to get your hitch installed. Now we've gone over some details with our trailer hitch, let's show you how we got it installed. Start off our installation, I've ran a cam strap from coil over to the coil, and what that's going to do is help support our exhaust once we lower that. Before we can get to our exhaust though, we're going to have 2 screws that we're going to need to take out, and these are going to require a T15 Torx bit to do. So we'll pop those 2 out, and that's just going to give us a little bit more room to work with here. Now using a 15mm socket, we're going to remove the bolts holding up the rubber isolators for the backside here. You're going to have that bolt head be facing towards the front of the vehicle, so you want to make sure that you're grabbing onto this and not the weld nut that's on the backside here. Alright, we can push up on this, kind of get that tab out of the way, and then we'll slide this down. We'll do the same thing on the other side, and then we can drop that other rubber isolator hanger. You can spray a little bit of lubricant on here too, kind of help make it easier to slide off. Right out, and then our cam strap is going to help hold that up. If you want to, you can also just pop these off, just have them out of the way, but I think we'll probably just leave them on because honestly this hitch is going to be super easy to just pop right up in. We're also going to just kind of pry back on our fascia, and then you can drop the bracket for the muffler here back a little bit. And like I said, if you wanted to, you could pop this off. You don't really have to. I mean, that's a fight that isn't really worth your time. Just kind of slide it up out of the way. And we can kind of move those around still if they do get in the way when we're sliding our hitch into place. So if we look up at our frame rail, we're going to have a few different holes here. This larger one that's 1 inch in diameter is going to be where we pass our carriage bolts through and our spacer blocks. And we would use a fish wire, and that's going to pop out of these 3 holes that we have aside from it. So what we're going to do is we can hold our carriage bolt up to here. It's honestly not going to be too much trimming. They say to go to 1 1/4 inches, but realistically, you could take about 1/8 of an inch off of this and be good to go. So we're just going to get our grinding bit, kind of grind this out until the head of the carriage bolt fits through, and we'll be good to go. So now that we have our hole enlarged, we're going to run our fish wire through. So what I've done is I've just threaded on our fish wire onto that bolt. Now I like to leave a couple of threads off, just because I found sometimes when you go all the way and it kind of gets stuck on there, it doesn't want to come off real easy. But we'll also slip on our spacer, and then we're going to pass our wire through. What I found is if you kind of stick your finger up in there, you can kind of push the wire up, hit your finger, and then you can kind of pull down a little bit so that you can angle it into that hole. So that's what we'll start with. I'm going to start with this very back one, just so I don't have stuff in my way when I try to do the others. And then once we get it up here, I'm going to separate the spacer. We'll push that through, and then we can pull our bolt through. Now you might have to wiggle it around just to kind of get it to come through. Inside of here, there's a bunch of plates kind of just stacked up and crimped over each other in this frame rail, so it was snagging us for a bit, so we did have to kind of fight it for a while. But now we can go ahead and pop in the other 2 bolts on this side and then keep it going over on our driver's side too. Now with an extra set of hands, we're going to lower our exhaust a little bit and slide in our trailer hitch. And we're going to push our fish wires through. Now on the middle, there's 2 holes, but we're only going to be using that slotted one. And with all of our fish wires in place, we can push our hitch up. And then I'm gonna take my fish wire off, and we can put on a flange nut to help hold up our hitch while we get the rest of them in place. All right, with that first one, that'll kind of help hold our hitch up. The other ones, and typically I'll like to put my fingernail into the threads to kind of help put some tension on it so it doesn't slip back up into the hole. If your finger can't get in there, then you can also use just a small flathead screwdriver. With all of our hardware snugged down, now we can come back with our torque wrench and torque down those nuts to the specifications listed in the instruction manual. Now that we have our nuts all torqued down, we're going to reinstall our exhaust hangers. So we'll have the 2 at the front here, and then that one right here, that rubber isolator. Last part of our install is going to be reinstalling those 2 screws that hold our fascia. And with those in place, that'll do it for the install. Well, I think that about does it for today's look at and installation of the Curt Trailer Hitch Receiver with a 1 1/4 inch receiver tube opening here on our 2025 GMC Terrain. My name's Kevin, and if this video wasn't helpful to you or you still have questions, please feel free to reach out to us via our Ask the Experts link, comment on this video, or phone in to our customer service department, and we'd be happy to help you out with your journey.